Namaskar. Welcome to Parenting with Prakriti. I'm your parenting coach, Prakriti Prasad. So, I work with parents of adolescent and teenage children, and I help them connect with their children, resolve their daily conflicts and struggles so that they can improve the overall happiness of the family. So every weekend and every day also, I take up issues that concern every parent, the struggles of the parents, and I take this up in the course of my webinars, my workshops, my live chats, and my individual counseling sessions. So recently, a very dreadful and a tragic incident that came to light has been there on my mind, and that is why, which caused this particular topic to be taken up. You know, how we all are aware how gaming has become such a big reality in our lives, gaming, the addiction for our children, and how this very sad incident of a child who ended up taking his mother's life because he was constantly pulled up. So, what better way to take up a topic than get an expert on this to give us her side, her views, her wisdom and knowledge about what causes this kind of this kind of dreadful behavior in children, which ends up taking lives. So we have here Dr. Latika Verma. She is
Namaskar.
Welcome, Dr. Latika Verma here. So, to give you a brief introduction of Dr. Latika Verma, she is a teacher, and she's a teacher par excellence, I would say. She's the HOD of the Department of Psychology at Mahila College in Ara. She's a national award winner teacher for, and she's the Rashtriya Shiksha Ratan Award teacher also, and that is for being an outstanding teacher, right? And apart from that, she's a
Yes.
master trainer in capacity building of women managers, and she's has held multiple posts as ex controller of examinations, bursar, admission in charge, NSS program officer, and apart from all this, she is a mother of two boys, two well turned out boys who are doing very well for themselves today. So, welcome, Dr. Latika Verma, here, and we want to discuss this issue, um, this worrisome issue of children being addicted to their gaming devices, games, so much so that they lose control over themselves and end up taking such drastic steps as even
Okay.
affecting and impacting
So,
killing somebody.
hello. Hello, Prakriti. First of all, let me thank you so much for making me a part of your show. And today's topic it is a very relevant topic. How can gaming end up taking lives? See, this topic is a bit uh, emotional, also, you can say. But this is a very rare situation when this happens.
Mhm.
One or two incidents only we can say that it can end up taking lives
Mhm.
because there are two different things. One is correlation and the other is causation. So you cannot just combine both of them. And if some incidents or two or three incidents happens like this, we cannot generalize it,
True.
right? Only gaming is important or gaming is responsible for taking lives. This
True.
we
There could
cannot
have been
generalize it.
multiple other reasons also.
Yeah, there are multiple factors behind it. There may be so many factors behind the screen which we cannot see, which we cannot think about it. But and gaming must have been a trigger point. Okay, so we cannot generalize it. So let's talk about more and more about this. So what else do you want to make me more clearer? Just uh, You can
So
talk
the
about
most, so before we get on to the main crux of the matter, so I feel that gaming or gadget addiction has for long been now being identified as something which is as addictive as maybe cigarette or
yeah, true.
alcohol or drugs, right? Now
Yes, yes.
WHO has also, I have been reading on this for some time now, and I've realized that WHO has come up with this categorization where it says clearly that gaming is this is kind of a disorder.
Disorder.
It's being
Yeah, yeah.
diagnosed as a
Yes.
IGD, as a gaming disorder. So, and this, uh, I believe that the while all gaming is not bad, all kinds of gaming is not bad. Gaming does have its plus points also, where it improves the hand-eye coordination, it improves our reflexes and our
Alert. The children become
alertness.
very alert.
That's right, power
Yes.
of
Mm.
observation.
Power of
Nevertheless, as they
concentration,
say,
attention.
that's
Yeah,
right.
so many mental mechanisms happens na, while playing. So they just have command on these uh, uh, systems like attention, perception. How do you perceive it? How do you attend it? What is your reaction time? So that way they become very alert.
Yeah.
So
But
there
having
are
said that,
good
it
points
also,
also and bad points also. Yes.
sorry, but
So
excess of
you want
anything, like they say, is bad. So
yes.
similarly, too much of spending time on the games has the flip side of it, and it ends up. I mean, children, mostly children,
Get addicted.
because they are not matured enough to handle their reflexes
Situations and they don't have control over it.
control.
That is the thing. But why children are addicted? I would like to give a psychological point. What is the reason behind it?
Okay.
See, irrespective of all ages, we all love stories. We all love to hear stories, go through it. So there are two forms of stories, and especially children, they are very much fond of stories. So there are two forms of stories. One is active and one is passive. Passive stories are like, say, reading books, watching TV shows. There are so many TV shows going on. So those are just, we just watch it. Being and we are just audience, and children are also like that. That is passive storytelling. And the other is active story. So here what happens, and gaming is one of the active
That's
stories.
correct.
Like, so in gaming, children participate in that story. So he or she is a part of that story. Suppose we are playing a game and one person, one character, he identifies with that character,
Mhm.
and what that character is doing in that uh, game or story, he or she is just, he's his experience is immersive, you can say.
Right,
It
right.
is very immersive.
Mhm.
And once they are so much emotionally involved in that game, so that way it is very difficult to just take them off. And they just go on playing and playing because they want to reach each and every level. They are so much engrossed in that. And they don't have control over it. That's what we said earlier also. So
Very
they
well.
don't have control over it. And since they consider themselves as a part of that story, so they are much and much more and more involved in that story. So that is the reason why they get addicted.
Okay.
That is
So
one of the
when do
reasons.
we say,
Then one more reason is designing of the games. Nowadays, what is the designing? See, like Candy Crush and all, even ladies play this game very much. So nowadays, and there are different levels: level one, two, three. So level one is the easiest, and there is very less. What do you call? Just enough challenging, challenges between level one and level two and level three. So when you cross level one, you will feel you have a feeling of gratitude, like gratification, feeling of gratification you have.
that's
See, I have reached this level, and then again, if I try a little more, I'll reach this level also. So it goes on continuing. It is a continuous process.
That's right.
And sense of feeling of gratification, it increases.
Patient. That
Instant
information.
gratification they have. So they like to play, go on playing. Then the third reason why this addiction happens, because of the social group. All children, they go down for playing, and they have a different group, like peer group, playing group, school. When they go to school, they just talk about these games. What are the new version of this game? If you're not up to date, and they all children, they want to be
More
acceptable
is
in their peer group.
yeah.
They want to be acceptable. So being accepted, so how will they will be accepted in the group? Because you have to be very much up
Upgrade.
to date.
Yes.
Yes, upgraded, up to date, so that everybody listens to him and he also be a part of the discussion, be a part of his peer group. So
That's
this is the there are these are the three main
yeah.
reasons why children get addicted.
Okay. Thank you so much for that um, point that you made. But because right now we see that almost all children are into gaming. So how do we as parents know that okay, my child is an addict or it's normal? So what would be put our fingers, you say okay, if these three things or four things happen, then you have to become conscious that okay, my child is heading towards addiction. That awareness for parents is very crucial.
Yeah,
So
that is true, that is
maybe
true.
I think now, if I think one reason that immediately comes to my mind is that when your child continues to play repeatedly, despite asking him or her, asking her not to do so, that shows that the child has scant regard to that. That means the child is heading towards addiction. When the child continues to play obsessively. Secondly, when the child withdraws from other activities, like for instance, if the child was interested in music or dance or painting, if the child withdraws from there and then gives all attention to gaming, playing games, I think that
Gaming playing, yes.
could also be the
Mm.
reason why. What else comes to your mind that we as mothers, we as
See,
parents can do?
sometimes you also see that they become aggressive also.
Okay.
Like, yeah, when
When
you
you
just
ask them to
stop them,
stop and then they will uh, react violently,
will
that is
react. Huh?
also a
So
sign of
there is,
addiction.
yes, there is one reason that is context switching. Suppose, uh, just I'll give you one or two examples. We used to play house of cards, used to set like this, and then suppose you are doing it since 1 hour, say 1 hour, and suddenly somebody comes and opens the door and
The
it just
cards come
gets
crashing down.
spoiled.
Okay.
Or suppose he's going to put the last card on top of it, and then the house will be completed. And then at that moment of time, your parents or whoever the adult, whoever comes and disturbs him or asks him to get up. So, and this is one example. The second example is, suppose you're working on some project and you're working hard on that project since years or since months, say, and then your boss says, "Ki, no, 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 this is discarded. Your project is not, all this is all scrap. So just stop working on it." How do you feel then? So these things, it triggers. And then what happens? He says, "Ki, I have been doing so much of effort and intensely, like, so much of effort and so much of intense work has been done by me,
Now,
and
okay.
then
So
somebody
that's when
comes and then spoils." So this, this is very bad. And then when they play gaming, when they play video games, the dopamine level is very high. And suddenly, if you stop it and then suddenly it falls, what will happen to that boy? Poor boy.
so
So
that
that
happens.
way, he feels really sad and disgusting. And now again, some children, all children have different mindsets, different mentalities, different nature, characteristics, personality. So this happens, suppose this happens with 10 children. So all 10 children won't
Have
react in the same way.
different behavior.
They won't react in the same way. So if someone, one or two, reacts in a very reactionary way, like it becomes very aggressive, violent, so that way, that depends upon so many factors that we discussed earlier also.
Right.
But here, the types of games played by them, the violence, the aggression, all have effects on their mindsets. So again and again, if you go on playing all such games, it will have a very bad effect on their
True.
brains, because it is not matured enough to handle it, to handle all the emotions, what it is going on in the games. Okay.
Yes, and
So
like you
these are the
said,
reasons why they, yeah, yeah,
so like you said that we as adults also face these kind of situation where suddenly when we are watching something or when we are
yeah.
making an important project and suddenly our computer crashes and everything goes pop. So
Just
that is,
imagine
and imagine
how
the
will you
kind of,
feel then?
yeah, all your effort goes down the drain. So
All
similarly,
yes,
but we as adults, we are able to control or rein in our
yes,
reactions instead
exactly,
of lashing
exactly.
out at the others. Whereas children with an undeveloped or a developing brain, they
Hmm.
are unable to control their emotions and their passions,
Yes.
and that is why they tend to lash out more. Okay, and this is
That
what
is that is the reason. Yes, that is the one of the very important reasons that they're not able to control their emotions, because their emotional development is not very matured, and their emotional intelligence is also not up to like
That's right. So
what
I was
we.
reading somewhere that the brain of a child, it develops from back to front. So the
Yes,
back
yes,
portion,
you're
yeah.
right.
So that the portion where it is the passion and enthusiasm, excitement that develops first, and then the reasoning and the logic, the front part, the prefrontal cortex, as they say. Correct me if I'm wrong for using these terms, but the
No, no,
prefrontal
you're
cortex
absolutely
develops
right. Yes,
later in their 20s, the 24, 25, and that is why the sense of reasoning, to control, patience, mature, all this comes much later. So that is one reason why children tend to react
yes,
unreasonably or
you are very
uncontrollably.
correct.
Okay.
Very correct.
So two very important things that we've seen till now. Gaming is not bad, but when it becomes excessive, obsessive gaming, then it is unhealthy, and then that's when we need to be cautious. What are the situations when we can make out as parents, as adults, that this is the time to swing into action? That there are three to four instances where we have to become completely alert that my child is moving towards addictive behavior. That, and very important point that Dr. Latika Verma made is, why do they have these intense reactions? What causes our children to react so intensely or sometimes violently and aggressively? Okay, that taken care of. So, Dr. Latika, I would like to know from you, so, what precautions and actions should we take as parents, as adults, in handling children at this point of time?
In one word, if you ask me, in one word, I would say empathy. You
Sorry?
have to be very empathy.
Empathy. Okay.
You have to be very much empathetic towards your children. You have to be very much, you must understand your child. You must be involved with
True, true.
all the
Agree.
activities. You try, at least we can try. See, nowadays all parents are working, both the parents are working, mostly. So, and suppose you're, if even if you are not working somewhere, you are so much involved in other activities also. Like if the mother is a housemaker, still she is engaged in many other activities in life. So it is not that you don't have much time, but still you have to give time to your children, and you have to understand them, because this is a growing age. Adolescence, mostly it is a growing age, and it is a period of stress and storm, what we say in psychology. That and this needs total guidance and support and empathetic behavior
Yeah.
from parents. Parents have to understand, and mainly whatever. Suppose your son is playing a video game, and you want him to come back to the dining table. Suppose you have made a very good food, very his favorite dish you have made, and you think and you expect that he'll come running to the dining table and he'll say, "Wow, mommy, thank you so much for making this dish for me." But then that is secondary for him now at present. He is playing a game where he is reaching a level where he wants to achieve so much, and he is happy with that. He is more happier instead with that. And suppose then you go, and there are two conditions. One, mother, she will go and tell, leave that game, stop it,
Right
quit,
now.
and come to the table right now. And the second mother will say that, okay, she'll go to him
Give
and
him a
she'll
time
see
frame.
what is going on.
Give her or
क्या हो रहा है, क्या कर रहे हो, कौन सा गेम खेल रहे हो, what game you are playing, what type of a game, how, what level have you reached, how much time is left to, कब तक खत्म होगा game. So
right.
if you go ask, you start that conversation like this. If you start that conversation like this, he will feel more involved and happier with you, and he will accept you. He will accept you. He will sit and he will tell you, ये गेम खेल रहे हैं, ऐसे हो रहा है. Now within 5 minutes I'll reach my goal. And then you say, okay, after you reach this goal, come to the dining table. I have made this
Right,
for
right.
you.
So,
And you will
three
see.
things that we, as to wrap it up quickly, Dr. Latika, I wouldn't like to
Okay,
keep you holding for long, but to wrap it up,
okay,
what are the 3 or 4 things that we as parents must keep in mind to rein in our children, rein in their gaming
okay.
habits? A is setting
One is
boundaries that
empathetic
comes.
behavior.
Sorry.
Yes. Second is set limits
Yes,
for the
setting
children, set
boundaries are
boundaries.
very
So
important. Then we need to.
then you have to set example for your children. What you do, they see what you do, not what you say. So you have they follow you. So
Yeah,
be
role
very
modeling.
alert with your
Role
behavior.
modeling, as they say, is very
Role
crucial.
modeling.
Exactly.
Yes. And then you just be very alert what type of games they are playing, because that games have a very negative or positive effect on their brains, because the brain is immature. So that way parents have to be very alert, very careful, and very watchful. So these are the things which we have to follow as a parent.
Very well said, Dr. Latika. So, to wrap it all up and to just do a quick round of check, so drawing boundaries are very important. And when we state the limitations, draw these boundaries, we have to do it along with our children, take them into confidence, and then also encourage them to set consequences that
Yes,
if you
yes,
will play the game for maybe an hour or an hour and a half, and if you exceed the limit, then what is the consequence that should happen? So we have to make it very clear that these are privileges, and the privileges can be withdrawn when you misuse it. So
yes,
laying down
definitely.
boundaries. Then another very pertinent point you made is to be aware of what kind of games our
Yes,
children are
very
downloading
important.
on
That is very
there.
important.
So in here, what we can also do at times is sit down with them, and maybe that's what I do as a parent, because I also have a 14-year-old child who loves playing games. So sit down sometimes and sit down and play with them, or understand what is this game that they are playing. So that also helps to keep uh, you know unwanted gaming activities in check. And role modeling, like she said, of course, is very crucial. Here, another important thing that we can also do is encourage them to play real time games. So I think family
Yes,
games,
that is
having a
also,
fixed
yes,
gaming time together as
totally,
a family,
totally
is
correct.
very important.
Yeah,
That's right. And all said and done, if you as a parent feel that you're unable to control your child's gaming behavior, that he is often becoming too obsessive, then please do not hesitate to seek professional help before anything dreadful happens or before you lose control completely of the child and the child um, does something so drastic and tragic. So please do not hesitate in taking professional help to.
And one more thing, you be
That's
very respectful to your child. Respect is one thing that gives you respect. So
exactly
unless and until
very
you respect your child, he or she will never respect you, your
yes.
sentiments. So
Give
that
what
way
you
we have to
want.
be,
Yeah. You give
yes.
respect, and that's when we. So many parents come to me when they say that my child is so disrespectful, and then I feel that they're and I immediately I can see that parents are the ones who are constantly criticizing their children in front of others, and that is
No,
why
no, no.
it is a reaction.
This is
That
gone.
the
Yeah.
disrespect that they show to their adults or their parents is basically a reaction of what they get or what they are feeling. So that's wonderful talking to you about this topic, Dr. Latika. You've given some amazing and significant steps and measures and points to keep in mind for all parents. And I hope this is valuable and it proves helpful for all of
Hope it
you.
is valuable for the parents listening to this video. And I think I have cleared all the queries or whatever you wanted from me. So, and thank you so much for making me a part of your show.
Wonderful. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
for coming over, Dr. Latika. And please put your comments and your queries in the comment section below. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay. Bye bye.